let's start out with a question that we get a lot. It's funny. We got like 3 questions, almost exactly the same, from a family or families recently, and even from school professionals. But one of the questions that came in, actually going to read it because, like I said, there's been 3 recently, almost absolutely identical questions. My child talks comfortably at home, becomes completely silent around peers. Why does this happen? And then number 2, we got, how can I help my child start interacting or speaking with peers without making them feel pressured or overwhelmed? And then another one that came in, my child seems interested in other kids but doesn't join in or respond when spoken to. How can I help them initiate or engage socially?
Mhm.
So, what do you think about when you hear those questions?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's many different factors into why maybe some of these obstacles are occurring for a child. So the first question that we always say is, we'd want to learn more about kind of those underlying contributing factors into the maintenance of your child's selective mutism. But what I would say too is when I think about peer engagement, that's one of the biggest areas of challenges for a lot of our kids. And again, for a variety of reasons, but I would say that facilitation is so important, right? And kind of that's why educating your school's teachers, educating family relatives, various people that are going to be engaging with your child is important because many times when we think about social communication, there's 2 parts of communication, right? There's the responding piece and the initiating piece to have a back and forth conversation. And we find that pretty much like 95% of the time, of course, there's always going to be tweaks, but most of the time, it's 95% of the time, individuals have a harder time with initiating. So they might respond in, they might maybe engage if a peer is like, oh, come play with me, or if, a teacher kind of facilitates something, but they might not necessarily go out of their way to initiate a play or to initiate, an engagement with someone. So I do think that some of these challenges that we get, a lot of these frequent questions probably stem from the fact that maybe there isn't a lot of facilitation going on. And so our child is maybe sitting there wanting to engage, right? Many times we get this feedback, whether it's from the actual kids themselves or from parents, where after school they'll say, like, I wanted to move, but they felt stuck, right? Like it's almost like you feel like you're literally, few of our teens have mentioned like this idea around like a paralysis, like they feel paralyzed to move. So they want to engage, but it's more like how. So I think like there's again so many ways that we can break down those 3 questions, but I wanted to kind of emphasize that piece, that I think the initiation piece, because it's so much harder, is how can we maybe help our kids, teens, or even young adults or adults, how can we help them navigate that so that they can have more of these successful engagements?
And I think it's so important that some of these key concepts that we talk about a lot, comfort precedes communication, social engagement precedes communication. And so often we are wanting, and it's very obvious to many kids and teens that we work with, that my mom and dad really, really want me to talk. They really want me to. And I often feel bad what some of the older individuals share with us because I can't. And when you really dive deep down into this, I say to myself, is there opportunities to build comfort and connection with others? And very often you'll hear, no, there's not as much as there could be. We think about comfort precedes communication and progress does not occur in a large group. So responding, as you said, is often easier no matter what the stage is, and initiation is often harder. We'll have individuals that are verbally responsive, but they're not initiative. So of course that's like, that we can go on and on about why, that happens. It could be ability, it could be comfort, it could be lack of social know-how, communication, putting their thoughts together to say them. Others have been answering for them. There's so many reasons why initiation is harder for the majority of individuals. But let's talk about this with these questions. What I think about, Dr. Jenna, is what opportunities have you had to build that comfort and confidence and connection? Have you done outside get togethers? Have you picked within school 2 to 3 buddies that you are focusing on to pair and group with? Like you said, facilitation, don't wait, facilitate. Are they waiting for these kids to just start to talk when there isn't even opportunities that are contrived and facilitated by the adults to connect? So something as simple as, even if you think about the home environment, are there opportunities to do get-togethers? And during those get-togethers, what are high interest activities
Mhm.
that you can do, because high interest activities are more of a big shot role, hand over takeover, opportunities through PVC, prepare visuals and choices, using the verbal intermediary. Do you want red or blue? No answer, red or blue, tell me. Like, what opportunities are there that parents themselves, through baking, through art projects? I had an older teen doing a baking project. They had friends over every other week to do baking club at their home. It's like you have to get really creative, Dr. Jenna.